And what's up, guys? Currently be talking about the chances of actually seeing tornadoes today across portions of central and northern Illinois and northwest Indiana, and even possibility southwest extreme Michigan today. So wasn't expecting a 10% hatch today. I was expecting a 5% upgrade last night, but they went 10% hatch. I definitely do agree, because there is definitely going to be a strong low pressure system off to the west. You got the warm front, you got a dry line set up here, bulge, and that's going to create the possibility of an arc of supercells here developing across portions of central and northern and eastern portions of Illinois, and those will be racing off to the east northeast, or just off to the east if they are further south, and they will be producing all potential severe hazards as well. So like I said, the 10% significant risk for strong tornadoes, even EF2 plus, are possible across portions of central and northern and eastern portions of Illinois. Central and northern portions of Indiana will see the possibility of seeing tornadoes later on late this evening into the overnight hours as well. Very strong low-level jet going to be in place. Very strong kinetic dynamics are going to be in place as well. Your 850, 925 millibar winds are ripping out of the south or south-southeasterlies. And then you have surface winds are going to be southerlies or south-southeasterlies as well. So if you see a storm that goes up in your area today across portions of central and northeast Illinois today, and it goes severe or tornado warn, just be ready, because these storms will definitely be trying to rotate very early on in the maturing stages of the thunderstorm, because there's such strong low-level wind shear. The photographs are in place. You have very strong 0 to 3 km helicity. All these dynamics together do point towards a strong tornado risk today. So definitely take today very seriously across portions of northeast Illinois today. Rockford, you're still in the 5% tornado risk. So I believe the front is probably going to lift right here. And then you'll have your dry line bulge right here. So your arc or supercells today are probably going to start developing right here in this corridor that I'm circling here. And then they'll just continue to push off to the east-northeast very quickly. They could be moving slow at first, but these storms will definitely pick up speed and start to move off to the east-northeast very quickly. And the dynamics in place are definitely very serious. The moisture uptrend, the instability uptrend over the last 72 hours has been significant on each update. Has went up a big amount of big time compared to what we saw just, a few days ago or 4 days ago. So the chances of seeing a strong tornado today across portions of Illinois are definitely increasing. The reason being, let's go over to the dynamics here and look over to the visible satellite and actual real-time data here. So you got some early convection here, storms here firing across portions of central, northern, and northeast Illinois this morning. Looks like there's a boundary of some sort being left out as well. You can see there's a boundary there already across portions of central Illinois that could be an instigator later on today in the open warm sector of potential more supercells off of that. So it looks like there's possibly a boundary just setting up right there. So that's the morning convection there, pushing off to the northeast, early morning convection. You got some clearing, you got some that looks to be a little bit of dust maybe, or higher up a level of clouds there across portions of northeast Missouri. But right there, your dry line is pushing off to the east northeast there across portions of central and northeast Missouri. That'll eventually start coming this way. So everything's set in the stages this morning for a potentially violent day. There's a decent amount of clearing out there. There's already a low level Q developing. Very warm air mass is coming north already. Current temperatures across the area should be warming into the 70s in some locations, or mid 70s later on. You have perfect photographs there. So everything's really coming in play here for the potential of tornadoes and possibly some long track tornadoes as well. Here's your wrap model. I do look like the wrap model could nail today, but it's between the wrap model and the HER model. Wrap model being a little bit more slower with like the NAM 3KM model, the HER model being a little bit more quicker. So we'll see which one does go. I think the wrap model and the NAM model are pretty much in agreement with the SPC's current update this morning with the 10% hatch, because otherwise there would be more of a 10% hatch over portions of central and northern Indiana this morning. So we'll see if that trend does follow through, because our model does show that central and northern Indiana and eastern Illinois is going to be the main threat today, while the wrap model and the NAM model say that central and northern Illinois gets it, as well as Indiana later on this evening into the overnight hours. So just looking at the wrap model here, it's the latest 10Z update. So we go back about to 21Z here. You see the wrap model here setting up across portions of central northern Illinois. You got the cold front back there, you got the dry line there. You got almost 60 dew points there pulling right there on the front there, the warm front you would say, across the I-80 corridor, and extending the dry line, extending all the way down into portions of Bloomington, Springfield, Illinois, along the I-55, I-57 corridor, setting the significant stage for possible long track strong tornadoes, or even a brief strong tornado or two across that portion area. As we go into 22Z here, you see that there's even some 60 dew points there, is trying to push out across portions of the I-80 corridor. Now, if the wrap model does get this right today, and we do see 60 dew points today, I mean, you're going to be talking about some big-time thunderstorms today with the dynamics in place. I mean, you have a very strong low-level jet. Here's your 500 millibar jet here across the area later on this afternoon and evening, screaming out basically 65 to 85 knot jet, 90 knot jet down there across portions of southern Illinois. Looking at your 925 millibars here, right there along the front there. Obviously, you got the triple point right there near the low. You got 925s there, ripping at 35 to 50 knots there, just along the front. So everything's more than sufficient for potential, big time tornadoes. It's just based on storm mode. The storms will fire. There's always the bust scenario where cap and inversion does come in play. But we'll see how today kilometer cape here across portions of the I-80 corridor based on the RAP model, extending all the way from basically I-80 corridor and south. So it basically lines up with the 10% tornado risk hatch today. And it will only take 1 or 2 storms today to fire in this region area and then potentially take off and then become, some big tornadoes producers today. So everything's up in the air today. I think it's very serious that this uptrend today started happening across portions of central and northeast Illinois today. Northeast Illinois is definitely known for having these sneaky setups, especially with MCS or any type of low pressure triple point system in Illinois. Usually takes off when it involves a warm front lifting to the north, and anytime you have a dry line this far east in the Midwest, potentially points towards a big day as well, because you usually don't see dry lines bulging out this far east. Usually the cold front's already taken over, but the cold front is way back there, which is involved in that blizzard system across portions of central Iowa later this afternoon. But that cold front, this line right here, this is the cold front. This is the cold front right there. This is the whole dry line right here. This is the whole dry line here across portions of the central eastern portions of the Midwest. You don't see a dry line like this potent this far east. Usually the cold front's already caught up by now or very close, but I mean you're still talking about 200-mile difference from the dry line and the cold front from actually overtaking. So cold front won't even interfere with today's setup. Today is a very big day across portions of central and northeast Illinois, guys, and I think today is definitely going to put down a couple to a few strong tornadoes today. In particular, probably, if I had to guess where strong tornadoes are going to be today, is probably definitely anywhere between Peoria to Bloomington to Champaign, going northeastward towards Joliet, Portage, Indiana, Lafayette, and even towards Elkhart. So just please be aware today, because today is definitely a stronger end system, and all we needed was the moisture and instability, and everything's starting to increase today, and it's definitely become serious. So here's the HER model. This is the latest HER model, I think. Yeah, here's the 12Z HER model. So the 12Z HER model does show some supercell thunderstorms already developing, basically at 18Z there around noon or 1 p.m. So those guys start tracking off to the northeast there very quickly, and these could be some tornado producing storms, and then everything's gone by 8 p.m. or so. So storms start firing right there after the dry line does make its way into Illinois. Obviously, let's look at the severe diameters here. So here's the tornado perimeters here, and those really start to get going there. Yeah, it's going to be a huge broken line of low top tornadic supercells across portions of central eastern Illinois going into Indiana this evening into the overnight hours. Yeah, Kankakee's definitely in the risk. Bloomington's in the risk today, yes. Bloomington, Indiana, and Bloomington, Illinois. And here's your helicity tracks. Look at your helicity tracks here on the latest HER model. They all point going in from central northeast Illinois into even the suburbs of Chicago. So today is definitely a day to watch for, possible low top, long track, possible tornadoes today across portions of northern and northeast Illinois. Let's get a closer up view here. Here's your helicity tracks. Here's the Chicagoland area, northeast Illinois area. Yes, including Joliet, obviously. You got some helicity tracks there going into portions of the Chicagoland area, meaning that these could be rotating thunderstorms producing hail, tornadoes, or damaging winds. See, those storms are rolling into the Chicagoland area by late afternoon to the evening hours. And a couple of these guys could be rotating supercells producing tornadoes today, guys. So it's definitely a day to be aware. Like I said, usually when you see an uptrend in Illinois with a lifted warm front, triple point, bulge, dry line, with a low pressure system coming in strong, cranking at like 990 below millibars. I mean, you're talking about a substantial severe weather, small regional outbreak across portions of this corridor. And that's what I think is honestly going to take place, because when I look at the visible satellite this morning, I see clearing. All I see is high level clouds, which is not going to interfere with heating so much. Now, if there was a lot of thick cloud cover, low level clouds and high level clouds, that'd be the issue. But I'm not seeing that the issue today. I'm going to see that moisture transport starting to come north here very soon, and everything's really going to start taking off. Already starting to get instability near the triple point right there across northern Missouri. Like when we're looking at the visible satellite here, that's where the triple point is currently right now, with that dry line that's coming off to the east northeast. You see this cumulus here across portions of central northern Missouri that lines up with the starting to get 250 surface based instability there developing across that region area right now. And there's even some 0 to 3 km cape and vorticity there starting to increase across that area too. And supercell composite just went up to a 2 across that area, so that's going to be the area that develops the broken line of supercells. And there's already some cumulus there developing across that dry line bulge there. So so give it about till I would say 1 or 2 p.m. and we'll start seeing some storms developing today. But it looks like there's a boundary here across portions of central Illinois. Looks very interesting. If this is like some sort of like an outflow boundary, or if this let's take a look here. Station plots. I wonder if that's the actual. That wouldn't make sense if that's like the actual warm front, but it wouldn't look like that. It wouldn't be northwest to southeast oriented, and then it all of a sudden curves all the way up and lifts north. That wouldn't make any sense to me. That's some sort of boundary there, firing morning convection there. Let's try to get a better, closer up view here. One second. So it looks like a potential boundary there across portions of central southern Illinois this morning that's producing some showers or storms across portions of Illinois, but it doesn't make sense to me. If that was a warm front, why would it be looking like that, northwest to southeast oriented? That's some sort of boundary there across portions of central and eastern Illinois. So that looks very interesting. I'm going to watch that boundary throughout today because that could be another instigator for thunderstorm development off that boundary, which will also focus more of a tornado potential on that boundary, more stronger low level wind shear, more stronger hodographs across that boundary, more focusing, so that it would also heed more potential. So that's about it with this live weather update, guys. I will be streaming throughout much of the day today across, Illinois, obviously going into Indiana, but make sure to watch my live stream. I will be streaming later on today. Make sure to share, like, and follow. You can scan that QR code at the bottom left part of the screen. You can be able to pull up all my social medias, and you'll be able to follow me on every single bit of social media, including Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, subscribing. I appreciate you guys' support. And it's been a crazy first 3 weeks into the meteorological springs outlooks for this year. So stay tuned, and yeah.